Welcome into this Eagle Eye Takeover edition of Birds Huddle presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Alongside my Eagle Eye podcast partner, Ruben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. And when a team never loses, Rube, you'd think there wouldn't be much to complain about, but not really the case, huh?
There's always something to complain about. When a team's won 18 of their last 19 games, you can find something.
You always find a little bit of something, and right now it's Kevin Patullo's passing offense that is drawing the most ire. It hasn't been great so far.
3 completions of 10 yards or more through 2 games is not ideal.
Yeah, he discussed the lack of downfield passing today. It's our Birds Report presented by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on.
When you look at when we game plan and stuff like that, that's obviously always the first thing we do is how do we want to push the ball down the field. And as a staff, we work really hard on the plan, especially these next couple of days, to put that on there, and that's a part of it. And sometimes, in game, it just doesn't happen. It's definitely something we want to do. It's not something we're avoiding. So I know going forward, we have the plan in place, and if it comes up, it'll definitely happen.
Time now for our 3-point stance presented by Toyota. Number 1, Kevin Patullo's passing offense might take some time to flourish.
Well, already has. We're into week 3 now, and they've got 2 completions over 13 yards. So it's concerning. Look, they're 2-0, and that's terrific. And I just don't know how you play football without getting the ball down the field at all. And it's not even the passing yards number, it's the yards per attempt and the yards per completion. That's really alarming to me. If you're winning games and you're only, last year they certainly didn't throw for a ton of yards, more than 119. But it's the lack of anything downfield. It makes it really tough to get a touchdown when you have to drive 13 plays. Now, when you have Saquon averaging 5.5 yards per carry, it makes it easier, like last year, but he's at 3.8 this year. So they're making it really hard for themselves. And they've had some opportune plays that have helped them win games. The defense has been terrific. Their kicking game has been terrific. So they're doing things to win, but you're not going to win consistently in this league or any league without throwing the ball down the field at some point. We're not talking about 50-yard bombs all the time. Just how about a nice 15, 20, 25-yard completion over the middle? They've got to figure that out.
Yeah, you're right. And so far, this passing offense, it's been efficient. Has not been explosive. It's been efficient because Jalen is completing a high percentage of his passes. They have not turned the football over. All those are good things, but you're right. At a certain point, you do need to throw the ball downfield a little bit. His average depth of target right now is 5.9 yards. That ranks 33rd out of 34 qualified quarterbacks. So, yeah, it's the eye test kind of matches the numbers on this. They're just not really throwing the football very well, but it's not necessarily a new problem. We talked about this last year. We talked about it in 2023. So there are kind of 2 paths this can go. It can go the 2023 route where the offense was just never good enough, or it could go down the path it went last year where when they needed to throw the football, it worked out fine.
Yeah, and they have a Super Bowl MVP quarterback. They've got an all-star 1 receiver and a really, really good number 2 receiver. The weapons are there. They've got a really good offensive line. When Dallas Goedert comes back, they have a terrific tight end. They've got all the skill guys, Saquon, obviously. So the pieces are there. Just got to put it all together. We just haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. I think at some point they're bound to hit on some of these plays. They have too much talent offensively for it to stay like this.
Yeah, I agree, but I'd like to see it soon. I'd like to see it Sunday, and I think you might need it Sunday because the Rams are a team that, more wide open offense, and you think they're going to probably score more than 14, 17 points. So I don't know if you could play this one as close to the vest as you played the first 2.
Yeah, if they need to score, we'll see if they can get that passing offense into gear a little bit. Number 2, the Eagles' defense is just scratching the surface. Already pretty good, Rube.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think this defense has a chance to be as good as any defense in the league. They have, we talk about cornerback number 2, and you'd like to see Adoree Jackson play better. He did play better in week 2, but there's no weaknesses. They have depth. They have star linebackers. They have elite cornerbacks. We're talking about 2 of them, not 3 of them. And up front, they're terrific. So this is potentially, and I think they're incredibly well coached. Vic is a master of making adjustments as the game goes on. They have everything to be the best defense in the league, which they were last year. They have a chance to be better. I think it's going to come.
Yeah, and it's fun because they can beat you in so many different ways. We saw that this past week, right? They blitzed the heck out of, at least by Vic standards, they blitzed the heck out of the Chiefs, 11 blitzes in that game. Did not blitz Patrick Mahomes at all in the Super Bowl. So you have a difference in defenses they can beat in different ways, but a lot of reasons to think they can get better, whether it's, Jihad Campbell and Andrew Makuba, already starters for the most part. Makuba is early on in their careers. All these young players are going to keep getting better.
Yeah, look, they have 3 sacks in 2 games. They have 1 interception, 2 takeaways. I think all those numbers, so they've played really, really sound. I think the big plays are going to come. The sacks, the forced fumbles, they have 1 in the opener. It was a huge play. Nolan Smith doesn't have a sack. Jalix Hunt doesn't have a sack. Zadarius Smith has half a sack. He's got more than all the other edge rushers combined. So I think it'll come. Really, I mean, Jalen Carter's a guy who Vic talked about. He's got to get in better shape. Once that happens, watch out, because he's as good as anybody. We just haven't seen, he's played really well. We haven't seen that elite Jalen Carter. You think back to last year's Rams playoff game, the guy at the end of the game, 80 snaps in or whatever it was, 70 snaps in, how good he was. So I think everybody, you have 2 new guys, 2 rookies. I think this defense can be as good as any defense we've seen around here since '91.
Yeah, you take steps with Jalen Carter. Wasn't even on the field really in week 1. Week 2 looked a little bit gassed, but they're going to need him. And he did have some really good moments in week 2 as well.
He did. Snap count was maybe a little high for his first game. He played 80% of the snaps. What was it, 46 out of 60? Something, 48 out of 60. Do the math real quick in my head. Look, every single guy in that defense, we haven't seen the big plays from Zach Bond yet. We will. We haven't seen the big plays from Jihad Campbell. We will. I think it's just going to keep getting better.
All right, number 3, Rube, Nick Sirianni is off to a historic start. You detailed a bunch of the numbers in your latest observations, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, look at these guys who have a higher. He passed George Allen on Sunday. He went up from 710 to 714. He's at the point now where he wins. His winning percentage only goes up a couple points. If the Eagles go 13-2 the rest of the year, he'll catch Vince Lombardi. But I mean, look at those 3 names. I don't know if people are familiar with Guy Chamberlain. Won 3 NFL championships in the 1920s, including in 1926 for the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. First NFL championship by a Philadelphia team.
Did you enjoy covering that team?
Yeah, the locker room was really small. That side part, wherever they were. So they don't lose any. I mean, they just don't lose. Here's a great stat on Nick Sirianni. The Eagles in their history, going back to 1933, have had 8 winning streaks of 8 games or more. 3 of them are Nick in the last 3 years.
It's unbelievable. And if you're an Eagles fan sitting at home watching this, I hope you appreciate this era of Eagles football, because they're winning at a rate that we'll probably never see again.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's, yeah, how could you? Like, you can't win 80%. Yeah, so he's doing things that have never been done. Boy, I mean, it was a rough start for him here. And ever since the Roots Underground speech, they've lost 13 games.
We were talking about whether or not he'd get fired last year.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, what he's done, I mean, gosh, 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. You can go on and on and on with his accomplishments. The players love him. They respect him. He knows how to get through to them. He knows how to build a culture. And when you have all that with the talent that Howie brings them, you don't lose many games.
3rd and 1. Tush push starts forward. He's got the first down.
I am done with the tush push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate, like we've been talking about.
We understand that we have to be perfect on that play, and we'll keep working on being perfect on that play.
It's time for Stock Up, Stock Down, presented by Philip Port. The tush push took center stage on Sunday, and so we've got a stock down for the future of the Eagles' signature play.
Yeah, at first it was too dangerous, Dave. It's an unsafe play. Oh, nobody's ever gotten hurt doing the tush push. Okay, then it's like, well, it's just not an aesthetically pleasing play. It doesn't look like an NFL play. Well, it's the same as, it's no different than quarterback sneaks that have been run for 100 years. And now it's too hard to officiate. Let's get rid of DPI because that's too hard to officiate. These people, they're jealous. They're jealous of the Eagles' success. They're jealous of how well the Eagles run this play. Nobody else can run it. And they're tired of the Eagles going to the Super Bowl every other year, and they want to get rid of a play that helps them win games. That's all this is about, jealousy.
The goalpost moving for me is very funny because you're right. It started off as a health and safety issue, but nothing there. So then, okay, it doesn't look good. Nothing there. And now, like, the idea that the refs can't do their jobs, what are we doing here? Like, and the funniest part about it is, if this play were to ever get outlawed, all that would get outlawed is the push element of it. The quarterback sneaks have been around forever, and like, if you're worried about false starts on a quarterback sneak, the push element of the play has absolutely nothing to do with it. I feel like we're all forgetting that the quarterback sneak is a play. Like, it's a play long before the Eagles ran this wrinkle off of it. So, like, the idea that all of a sudden it's an issue is just absurd to me.
And Dean Blandino says it's too hard to officiate. Why? Why is it too hard to officiate? Just look down the line of scrimmage and see who's offsides or who's jumping. And if the Eagles are jumping, throw a flag. But, I mean, none of this makes sense. None of it adds up. People want to get rid of it, and I think they probably will, just because they're envious of the Eagles' success.
Yeah, and you know what? The Eagles are going to run it into the ground this year anyway, and I think they'll be just as good, maybe not just as good, but pretty good at the traditional QB sneak anyway. All right, time for a stock up. Zadarius Smith, pretty good debut with the Eagles.
Yeah, here's a guy who's in his third, what is he, 32, 33?
Just turned 33. Happy birthday,
Happy
Zadarius.
birthday, Zadarius. Wasn't in a camp. Wasn't with a team, comes here, practices 3 days, goes out and plays 20 snaps against the Chiefs in his first time hitting anyone since January, has half a sack, has a tackle for loss, has a quarterback hit, and really brought a lot of juice, 5 tackles, brought a lot of juice to the sidelines, to the defense. I was really impressed with Zadarius Smith and what he was able to do, just getting here a few days earlier, about a week earlier, just starting to practice. And like Vic Fangio said today, Tuesday, he's going to just keep getting better as he learns what we're doing here, what we're trying to do, and how we do things. This is a guy who had 9 sacks last year. He's going to be a difference maker on this team.
Yeah, I agree. Now, over 70 career sacks for Zadarius Smith. I think he's going to really help this team. And it was a position where we thought they needed some help. And that wasn't a knock on the top 2 guys, but they brought in all these veterans for some depth. And Josh Uche has panned out to a certain degree. He's at least going to be a part of the rotation. But Azeez Ojulari and Agbo Okoronkwo have been healthy scratches the first 2 games. You bring in Zadarius Smith, all of a sudden, like, the dynamic of that rotation changes a little bit.
And Agbo Okoronkwo encouraged him to come here. They're former teammates in Cleveland. He might knock him out of a job after encouraging him to sign here.
Very possible. Finally, a stock up for our old buddy Carson Wentz. He'll take over as Vikings starting quarterback for the injured J.J. McCarthy. So he'll start a game for the 6th different team in 6 straight years.
Yeah, and I hope people in Philadelphia appreciate Carson Wentz. Look, it ended really ugly. We're going to see Carson in all 6 uniforms. We haven't seen him in a Vikings uniform. But, if he doesn't go 11-2 in 2017, they don't get the #1 seed. And maybe they win the Super Bowl, but he had so much to do. He played so well that year before that injury in LA Coliseum against the Rams. It's probably the best stretch of 10 games a quarterback in an Eagles uniform has ever played. So I hope people appreciate him. I know it got ugly at the end. They drafted Jalen. He had a bunch of injuries, Carson did, and gets benched in Green Bay at Lambeau. But without him, I don't think they win that Super Bowl in 2017. I don't know if he can play anymore, but I hope Eagles fans appreciate what he did here.
Yeah, you're right. That stretch was special. He was on an MVP trajectory that year. He set them up with that #1 seed, and I'm excited to watch him play with the Vikings. I think he has a chance to maybe win a game for them, win a couple games for them. We'll see.
Who do you think will play for next year?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.